Okay, so another important thing to know is always, always, always know a thing or two about finance. Because the finances they teach you, when they try to teach you financial literacy, it's really just about saving. So it's not anything about like what led to the financial crisis or anything of that nature. You understand what I'm saying? So like they want to make you literate, but they don't, because none of that stuff has anything to do with what led to the crisis, what's going on right now. So literacy is just another way to say we're wasting your time and keeping you stupid. So don't waste your time going to a financial literacy class. That is just pointless BS. Now, oh yeah, this is the main thing. I want to talk about this. So you'll notice I have blue eyes. And I don't know why that's important, but maybe I do. Here's the thing. Finance is a language, right? It's like Spanish. So I learned Spanish in high school, and I learned finance in college. And it took me many a late night studying it, many a late night. It's kind of a language meant to make you feel stupid, especially before the crisis, what led to it, and then some of the outdated coursework that we did prior to the crisis. Obviously, I went to college past 2010, so while some courses were teaching you what led to the crisis, more of the economics courses, which I'm an economics major, the finance courses still wanted to be still wanted to be pre-2007 and teach you about kind of what they did to lead us to this crisis. And not only teach you about what they did, but continue some of the ridiculous practices. So it's kind of really weird. It's kind of like a war going on campus with the curriculums. But we'll get into that later. So anyway, I didn't know finance growing up. And it's really a language, I think, that Ryan Gosling said this after he was in The Big Short, when he was interviewed by the Hollywood Reporter. He said it's really a language that you have to know growing up. It's not something that that you can acquire easily, because it's kind of meant to make you feel stupid if you're an outsider. So if you're not an insider growing up, you really don't know the language, like I didn't. And which is, I think it's a good thing. You know, in many ways I wish I did know the language, right? But I didn't. So, you know, my parents weren't in finance. I didn't have anyone on the board, the CBOT, which is the Chicago Board of Trade, which is now apparently the Chicago Stock Exchange, what they're calling it. So I don't know that any actual work gets done there anymore, right? But at least the work that would have been done there pre-2007, I don't know that it is still being conducted there. However, on the New York Stock Exchange, there is some work being done. Whether it's just a front, I'm not sure. But, you know, you can still invest, and investing is different than the financial system, and it always has been. But I think the main thing is it's a language that if you don't know, if you have no idea what the hell they're talking about, this lingo, it's a different language, and it's a different lifestyle than anything you've been accustomed to. And if you didn't grow up in parts of Long Island, Brooklyn, upstate New York, Westchester area, Jersey, and parts of Chicago, where the big boards of trade are, with, you know, NYSE and the CBOT, Chicago Board of Options of Trade, or the CME, which is Chicago Mercantile Exchange, you're not going to know much. You just aren't. So if you don't know anyone that works for your parents didn't work there, you didn't work there, you're not going to know much. So when you read The Big Short, it really takes a lot of comprehension, a lot of looking things up, and that's kind of what happened to me when I learned finance. I had to look all this stuff up, and it took a long time to digest. So I was not grown up on this language. So therefore I should not be punished for that language. A lot of people say, well, these guys should have gone to jail. These traders that were giving out these subprime loans and things like that, they should be, you know, in jail. And maybe they should be in jail. You know, I think sometimes that gets lost. But yeah, no, I don't know what else to say about that. But it's definitely a different language, and it's responsible for a lot of the stuff we see. And like every other time in America, or across the world, when something goes wrong in the economy, we punish perceived poor people and immigrants. So Now, have you, some immigrants were part of this. So, and some of them were just, you know, being beaten as a result. And that's really messed up. That's all I got.